College Gym Vids fan going live on YouTube. This is on ESPN.
We know a thing or two because we've seen it.
3.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. Championship, and so do all the other teams here. Ariel Cardinal to a pole.
How do I get the full TV to be seen? How to adjust it?
This has all the
There.
makings of a huge score. Holy cow. This is amazing.
Oklahoma in the driver's seat here.
We had no idea, honestly, that we had a chance. We just wanted to leave it all on the floor.
Damn.
She gets a 10.
Beautifully done. She just raises the bar in that execution and presentation.
Hank said, Miss Val, this is the last performance of my life. I'm going to enjoy every moment.
And the score is in. It's her second perfect 10 of the night. UCLA will win the highest beam score in NCAA championship history, and they needed all of it to upend the Sooners, who were having a heck of a week themselves. Welcome to the Lloyd Noble Center on the campus of the University of Oklahoma for our live ESPN network coverage of women's collegiate gymnastics. Today, we feature a dream matchup. The top 2 ranked teams in the country, the #1 OU Sooners and the #2 UCLA Bruins. And you take a look at this meet storyline. These 2 teams have combined to win the last 3 NCAA championships, 9 individual titles, and the last time we saw them go head-to-head in regular season competition, it resulted in 6 perfect 10s. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. I've told my friends all season long, if you can only watch one regular season gymnastics meet, watch this one. The 2 best teams in the country and the biggest stars in the sport on the floor today.
We have waited for this matchup all season long, and the fact that it comes so close as postseason is approaching makes it all the more magical. I went down on the floor purposely to stand right next to the equipment to see the quality and the dynamics of this gymnastics, and I could viscerally feel the energy they create making these spectacular moves. I expect greatness from both teams.
And I mentioned stars, none bigger than Kyla Ross. And what a magical season she is having.
And everybody knows her as Kyla Boss for a reason. Her technical precision is fantastic, and the grace and power behind it all is amazing.
And look at some of her accolades. She leads the all-around in the NCAA. She scored 5 perfect 10s this season, 10 in her career. And then Maggie Nichols from Oklahoma, the NCAA all-around champion, but she is playing through pain here for this matchup today, Kathy.
Well, in her heart, she leads such a spectacular team. She wants to come up big every time. So much heart behind her gymnastics, and of course the talent, it's all there.
16 times she scored perfect 10s in her young career, the junior from Minnesota. So the best teams in the country and the biggest stars in the sport, when we come back to Norman, Oklahoma, how they roll, we'll take it from there. Don't go down. Don't go down. Oh, no. Don't go down. Oh, no. Along your car. Call me. Along your car. Call me. A flyby ballooning. Seen it, covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
The all-wheel drive lock mode on the Telluride helps ensure maximum grip to all 4 tires. Much like a bull planting its hooves firmly into the earth right before it gives you that look that says, run.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Well, if it's a big meet, you know you're going to see Holly Holly Rowe. Let's go down to the incomparable Holly Rowe.
Thank you, Bart. Gymnastics is all about that chase for perfection. To be perfect, you get a perfect 10. One on all four apparatus, and that is a 40. It is so elusive to get that perfect score, but quickly see one tonight. Of the 16 perfect 10s that have been earned in the NCAA this year, 12 athletes who have earned those scores will be competing tonight. They will be able to show you how perfect they are, and Kayla Ross is getting awfully close, ranked #1 in the country in the all-around. She is just a few tenths off of getting that perfect number 40. Will we see a perfect score in this meet last year in LA? We saw 6 perfect 10s. Get ready to rumble. We'll get some good scores tonight.
Thank you, Holly. And you talk about perfect 10s. Well, the Oklahoma Sooners, the only team in the country to have 10-0 start players for all 6 athletes in every meet of the season. The only team to do that otherwise, I believe just once this year, is Florida. Leading them off is Nicole Lehrman.
And all of the athletes on Oklahoma are performing the Yurchenko with a 1.5 twist. Very difficult. They will land facing away from the table with a blind landing. Just a little hop. What was fantastic about that vault was the distance she flew from the table. The judges look for a good block off the table to see the height in the air. That's that big amplitude and the distance from the table, and of course form.
Take a look at the event rankings. We mentioned it's the best of the best. On vault, the Oklahomans are the #1 team in the country. UCLA is 5th. But look at the other 3 events. Bars, beam, and floor. It's the Bruins who lead the nation. The Sooners are 2nd in bars, 2nd on beam, and 3rd on the floor. As we get ready for the bars, the #1 team in the country. And leading them off is Marzetta Frazier, the spectacular freshman out of New Jersey.
And she is such an exciting lead-off performer. Her routine does not stop. It flies high, huge dynamics behind every skill.
Just the freshmen are already having an immediate impact on this team.
2 release moves in this skill, in this routine. Up to high bar, right back down to low bar with a pack salto. And right back up to the high bar with that half twist, looking for those handstand positions for perfection. Double layup, just a little shift of that 1 foot on the landing. So the gymnasts have to go back and forth between the bars, and when they do these difficult skills going back and forth, they get bonus points. Huge skills, and the dismount with the all-important landing, those judges are cueing in on those feet to see any movement.
Good start for the Bruins on bars. Anastasia Webb, the sophomore from Morton Grove, Illinois, up coming after Nicole Lehrman, led them off with a 9.875.
Another big Yurchenko 1.5. Let's see if she can keep those legs locked tight. Very nicely done.
This is her favorite event. She, in fact, changed her vault from last year because she had some inconsistencies with it.
And good for her for stepping up the level of difficulty. Really reached for that stuck landing, needed to absorb it just a little bit more and keep those legs tight.
UCLA back on the bars. Felicia Hano, the junior from San Gabriel, California, 3-time All-American. She has consistently contributed on vault, bars, and floor this season.
Her big skill is on the high bar. It's a single bar release. It's called a ray. She'll go from a toe on and then fly backwards over the bar to a regrasp, right into the overshoot down the low. Good amplitude, just a slight leg separation. Again, those judges want to see the hands is right in vertical. There's her pirouette, right into a tuck of the back and a perfect landing.
Bruins off to a good start on the bar. She gets congratulations from her teammates. They know in order to compete against the Sooners here at home,
check out the height above the bar, perfectly positioned to make that regrasp.
Felicia Hano did her club training at Gymnastics in Southern California, like several of the gymnasts. For UCLA, Jade Dagovea, the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, coming up. 2 scores for the Sooners are 9.875 for Lehrman, and Anastasia Webb had a 9.85.
Now watch how quickly she twists. She twists like a cat in the air trying to find a landing, and it goes far. And high, very floaty. Oh, a little bit lower than I expected, but wow, she made up for it with that landing. A spectacular control on that landing, no movement.
We were talking to KJ Kindler before the meeting. She's like a cat. She can stick a landing almost any time. How about that?
Absolutely. I think we brought the cat out in her right there. And a big smile. She makes eye contact with Coach Ringwald, who loves it.
3 solid vaults for the Sooners in this first rotation. We go back to the bars. Macy Taranjo now gets the call for UCLA. Now, UCLA, like Oklahoma, has been adjusting this lineup even late. She's the senior from Huntsville, Texas. In fact, she's only done bars once this year for the Bruins.
Stepping in last minute for Grace Glenn, whose routine just wasn't quite ready. So far, this routine is so good. Hitting those handstands, almost went over on that one, going after it so aggressively. All she's got left is the dismount. Nice big swing on these gymnasts to set it up. Tries to get the shape in the air for the landing. With a micro hop on that landing, chest is slightly down.
Quick reminder for our fans tuning in, the dual meet rules. There are 6 gymnasts on each event for each team. Just the best 5 scores count towards their team total. The team, of course, with the highest cumulative score wins. And the Oklahoma Sooners get what they call the Olympic order because they're at home, vault, bars, beam, and floor. UCLA does the reverse of that. Allie Stern, the freshman from North Carolina, for the young Sooners, and they're off to a great start.
Another 1.5, just a little hop. You got to really firm those legs up as you feel the mat. Use the strength in the quads to hold that landing.
And they're coming off some momentum. Jade Dagobert before her stuck her ball for a career-high 9.95.
And wanting to keep this momentum going, a little bit of legs in the air, and she lands a little closer to the table, so the dynamics are not quite as big.
Coach Kindler said sometimes her landings are a roll of the dice. Well, she managed to control that fairly well here in this pressure-packed situation. The top 2 teams in the country going head-to-head. Nora Flatley, the freshman from Western Warren, Iowa, coming up now.
Watch this first combination. It's unique. Comes right out of the giant swing. Here, she's going to turn, and that's a hidden goal into an eagle grip. Look at the height, the amplitude on her release move.
Impeccable form.
Really nice straight back on her hands. I love that elite form. Like they're suck up the straw in the handstand. You can generate a lot of swing that way. Gets the feet up for the double layer and gets the landing.
How about that? The young freshman who had an extensive career as an elite athlete, 2 times member of the U.S. Senior National Elite Team.
Beautiful combination. Very difficult when you do that back-to-back. Nice to see that different grip. And the double layout floats it in. No movement.
3 9/8s in a row for UCLA on the bars. Macy Taranjo before her notched their 3rd one in a row as we go back to the Sooners. We didn't know if we'd see this young lady, Olivia Trotman, who has a groin pull earlier this week. She got some injections and she's going for it today, Kat.
Adrenaline of this matchup will fuel the ball. 1.5 twist, a little hot on that landing, but so great to see her in the lineup.
She scored a perfect 10 at the Perfect 10 Challenge a few weeks ago in Oklahoma City on the floor.
Let's check out her height. It is 4.5 feet off the table. Tries to keep those legs really straight, lands 6 feet, but then unfortunately, that's a fairly sizable pop. It'll be a deduction.
She's a freshman from Champlin, Minnesota, the same gym club as Maggie Nichols. Talk about greatness. Madison Koshin coming up on bars. She, of course, 2-time Olympic medalist and world champion on this event.
Watch this beautiful skill. It's a shoulder into a release back up to high bar, called a chow, and Madison does it extremely well. Very, very difficult. Drop it back just a little bit on that early pirouette on low bar.
2 career 10 times, that one this year.
Locking the handstand, going into the giants, into the dismount, hop back, inside. Some beautifully executed difficulty in that routine.
She has had her share of injuries. Seems like every time we talk about her, she's coming back from something.
Love that stall already. Feet go right back behind your head. Wanted the landing, held on just a little long and over-rotated.
And Brandau will wrap up the first rotation for the Sooners on vault, coming after Troutman notched a 9.85. Dowell, the junior from Odessa, Missouri.
This is power and precision at work. Oh, gorgeous vault. That's really your best vault of the competition so far. Technically, she does it so well. Gets those arms back to the table. No angle there, so she can block, push it straight up, hits that shape, opens the arms out, and just a half hop forward. Great vault.
She is just money on her landings. Former gold medalist with the U.S. World Championship team in the 2015 Worlds. And of course, we talked about stars. Here is Kyla Ross. She is superb, almost sublime.
Yes. Watch the patience. She takes her time and shows off every skill to its fullest. Gorgeous fail to hands in, and that was a skill she had to rework the timing in the warm-up because these bars are set up differently. She is a pro and a phenomenal athlete at work. That's the truth.
10 perfect 10s in her career, 3 on the uneven bars this year alone, Kathy.
Well, I have to say, this one was better than those 10s. So I don't know what you do. Go 10-2. It was so picture perfect from start to finish. Not a toe out of line.
What an opening rotation. Let's go down to Holly Rowe, who's with OU's coach KJ Kindler.
KJ Kindler, you have shattered your season attendance record. You've had to open up the top of this building. What is it like to have this crowd here supporting you today?
My heart. I'm so excited. They deserve this. Both teams deserve this. This is an amazing turnout.
You got off to a great start on vault. Jade Gobeo with a career high, and then how did Brenna McDowell finish that off?
She did amazing. That's one of her best executed vaults of the season. Really proud of them. And Jade stuck it cold. Can't ask for more than that.
How do you guys feed off this energy for the rest of the meet?
We just have to keep it rolling. Our heads are in the right place. I love it, and we're just going to go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly Rowe and KJ Kindler. Kyla Ross, by the way, you called it, Kathy. She scored another perfect 10 on the bars, and it was well earned. Her 4th perfect 10 of the season. We're just in the first rotation, and we're going to see more from Kyla Ross and the incredible UCLA Bruins, as well as the #1 team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners. This is as good as it gets.
Meal starting at $11.99. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
The Hyundai Spring Fever sales event. The longer you look, the more there is to like.
Now get up to $3,000 in total savings on the 2019 Elantra. Hurry, event ends soon.
Expecting a great matchup today, and so far no disappointments here. Oklahoma with a lead of .125, even though Kyla Ross got a 10 on the bars for the Bruins. Now the Oklahoma Sooners are competing with a heavy heart this week. For more, let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Well, you know that athletic trainers are the heart and soul of any gymnastics team. They're the ones who take care of these athletes. So it's been very difficult this week that Jen Richardson, the athletic trainer for the Oklahoma Sooners, lost her husband, David. David was a huge part of this team. You see all of the athletes, including UCLA, with the hashtag #DoItForDave, the blue ribbon signifying colon cancer after he lost his long, courageous fight with that disease. The team actually went to his memorial service on Thursday morning, and it has been very difficult. He was a father of 5. He was a beloved coach at Norman North High School. And his courage in life was courage, strength, faith, and fight was his personal motto. So the team today is definitely doing it for Dave.
sweet and smoky. Sesame and ginger. These are the flavors we wanted. But how does somebody know? Are you wearing a wire? Delivery wraps!
Infinity. Empower the drive.
It's difficult when you know you have a team that can win. And we definitely had a team that could win. And so it was definitely a tough moment, but at the end of the day, they had an exceptional meet. And it just wasn't enough. So, you know, we moved forward from here, and .0375 is a number that will ring in my head for quite some time.
The narrowest of margins separated these two teams as national champions last year, and KJ Kindler said she is definitely not shying away from that, using that small detail to fuel her team. She said that is a toe point, that is a step, that is the most minute detail that these athletes have to be focusing on at this point this season. You can see their event rankings. They are poised to make a run for another national championship in April this season, but it is the tiny details that she is focused on so that they do not suffer that minuscule loss again. She's using it every day as fuel for that fire.
Thank you, Holly. And yes, of course, we were there calling that event. Oklahoma had a superb competition at the NCAAs, but it was UCLA that had just one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments where they delivered the biggest routines possible. And of course, Peng Peng Lee, with her 2 perfect 10s, helped solidify that championship and a spectacular finish.
It was magical. That's the only way to describe it and to explain how it could come down to those last few routines.
125 hundredths of a point separating these two teams today as Gracie Kramer gets the leadoff spot for UCLA. This is the second time only this year that she's vaulted for the group.
We're going to see a lot of 1.5s here, but she's going to open with her full. Great distance on that ball.
We thought we might see Katelyn Ohashi in this role, but just like the other team, Oklahoma Sooners, UCLA is adjusting their lineups based on injuries and trying to manage their team to get to the end of the season. Of course, Val Condos Field is a master at putting the best team on the floor when it's important in her 29th season as UCLA head coach, and there'll be a big tribute to her at their last home meet on the 16th of March at Pawnee Pavilion as she is retiring at the end of this season. Anastasia Webb leads off the Sooners on bar.
They're ready. Number 2, look at the high flying release down to the low by the half salto. It's beautiful. Maybe a little close to the bar, but she handles it extremely well. Sets up his dismount. It's new. Double front with a half twist. Very difficult and a great upgrade. Just that step back on the lane.
6 times in the all-around for the Sooners this year. Really has been solid.
Watch this transition down to low. The height she does. And then handles it because she was a little over the bar, but she blocked out through the shoulders and swung right out of it. And this dismount, double front with a half twist. Really difficult and nicely done.
Back to the vault now for the Bruins. Felicia Hano. They call her Fitch. 3-time All-American. Ranked 13th in the vault. This year, high score, a 9.95.
This is a 1.5 twist. Pulls it off beautifully. A little bit overdone. I've seen her over-rotate, under-rotate this season. She's making sure she has plenty of dynamic and power behind that ball.
The favorite event for the former national team member is vault.
And the difference you can see right off the bat, they're having issues with finding those landings so far this season.
Anastasia Webb led off the Sooners on bars with an impressive 9.825. Alex Marks, who competed only vault last year for the Sooners, has been in the bars lineup this year. 5 feet 8 inches tall. She is impressive.
She uses every inch to show off the lines on this event. Beautiful handstand, just a little bit sickness with the feet. She has the toes together. She should try to squeeze those ankles together for perfection. But wow, what a nice, that out. That dismount is so uniquely done. So crisp and clear, the twist in the air.
The senior from Cushing, Oklahoma, did part of her club training at Dynamo Gymnastics in Oklahoma City, as well as Park Connor Gymnastics Academy. Proud of this young lady.
Check out the handstand. Now the judges sit right on the side, so they get a perfect view. She is a little bit short of that vertical. She finesses it, but I think they'll get it just a little bit. And the dismount, half in, half out. Beautiful landing.
The lady's a head taller than almost every other athlete on the floor, and yet she uses that long swing to her advantage. Alicia Hano had a 9.825 for UCLA. Sakai Wright is set to go. She's a freshman from Paramount, California.
And they really need to try to find these last few landings on the vault. They're giving away those tenths of a point. 1.5, nice quick half twist there at the end, but could not find the landing again. Brought her head and chest forward. Little bit of leg form. Those legs really need to stay stretched and tight through the knees. And that large step forward will be at least a tenth of a point.
Important test for the Bruins here is vault, because although they're ranked first on the other three events, they're only ranked 5th in the country on vault. And they need to keep it close to the Sooners on this event, in this rotation. Carrie Thomas coming up now, 9.875 is the score for Alex Marks.
Set up that Jaeger front, first in the bar release out of the line change.
Thomas is an uneven bar specialist.
Hitting a vertical on that last handstand. A little bit of pike in the hips in her giant, but wow! She used it, got those feet right out into the dismount and hit a gorgeous shape. That layout position where you can stop the landing and get it.
Her low score this year is a 9.8, her high a 9.925.
Good height and distance, perfectly distanced from the bar to get a regress with straight arms. And check this out, chest up high and no movement.
And you rarely catch the Sooners without pointed toes. That polish has served them well. One of the reasons that they have won 3 NCAA championships, because in collegiate gymnastics, it comes down to execution and polish. Mia Dennis, the sophomore now for UCLA, set to go after Sakai Wright at a 9.75.
Giant Yurchenko full. She doesn't do the 1.5, so this is scored from a 9.95, but she gets the most out of this vault with big amplitude. Good block up. I love that her head was in line with her shoulders, almost 5 feet off the table. 7 feet out, that hop back will be the major deduction in the routine.
Only one other vault in the lineup for the Bruins this year was last week against Utah. Carrie Thomas had a 9.925, that's a career high, and Brenna Dowell set to go.
And she attacks this bar routine like no other. Straight arm swing, big, aggressive swing throughout the routine. Impeccable handstand technique.
This young lady had a nasty fall in launch against a dual meet in Denver as these giant swings were picking up speed.
I love she got that last handstand. She's sometimes a little bit short, but not today. Got it right on top, which set up a perfect swing into the double layout. See how straight that body line is and pops it up off the bar. 2 feet over the bar, toes still pointed, legs straight, arms outstretched, reach, regress. But this was just money at the end of the routine.
Coach Kindler said she has not yet put together a perfect meet so far, but that was a great effort. Katelyn Ohashi now.
1.5.
Boom! Oh, could it be another one?
Holy cow.
Already twice. She has scored perfect 10s on vault, and we got to see one of them.
Boy, I tell you what, her well is so deep. She can dig down and find these landings, pulls them out of the sky, and uses those legs. That's a very safe landing for your knees, for your ankles, for everything.
It just shows you her brilliance, because other gymnasts might have forced into a step, but she been a little bit lower than normal, but she didn't move her feet.
So far, I am like bowing Her Majesty. That's unbelievable.
What a meet we have going here in Norman, Oklahoma today. We're glad you've joined us. I'm Mark Connor, along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, and of course we have Holly Rowe. Nicole Lehrman on the bars after Benadal got a 9.925, and the score at the same time comes in for Kyla Ross. It's her second perfect 10 of the day.
Speechless. Nice bar routine going. Look at the form, as you said. Oklahoma has that in spades. Even kept the form in that interesting double back dismount. Whew, we got a competition.
Benadal had their second 9.925 in a row, and the final two young ladies for the Sooners have both won bars championships at the NCAA.
Remember the .0375? That's how you fight for every tiny tenth of a point.
Lehrman, the senior from Austin, Texas. As we go back now to the vault after Kyla Ross's 10, here comes Paulina Trotz, the German national champion on this event.
I think she's going to do a full. She trains at 1.5. Great height, distance from the table, a little bit of height down. Look at the power in the run. You have to convert all that forward speed to up, off the table. She finishes it at the table height. Just a hop back on the landing.
What an incredible meet we have so far. The Sooners have a slight lead, and Maggie Nichols will wrap up the rotation on bars. She's only, well, we don't know what she's doing. It looked like she was only going to do bars and beam in this event. You mentioned she's been dealing with some beam pain. She's coming after Lehrman's 9.925.
She has it all in this routine. Big difficulty. She connects those two release moves back to back. It is perfection so far. Squeeze those feet together on that transition back to high bar. She also does a double layout. Let's see if she can get the landing. She often does. God, she's fighting it. She should pull those heels together. But she waited smartly, actually, to close those heels.
Maybe the two finest gymnasts in collegiate gymnastics here, Kyla Ross and, of course, Maggie Nichols.
Well, whether you know it or not, you have just been given a treat in the sport of gymnastics. Love that she connected those release moves. In slow motion, you can find the teeny tiny things. But look at her. She is not, her toes are off the mat, but she's not going to fall back.
And her feet are slightly apart. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do for that. 16 times she has scored a perfect 10. I don't think she's going to get it today here at home. And her score is in. It's the fourth 9.925 in a row for the Oklahoma Sooners on bar. So at the end of two rotations, OU with a .475, just under a half a point lead for the Sooners against the UCLA Bruins. Let's go down to Holly.
Well, we are here with Miss Val of UCLA. We've already seen two perfect 10s. What has Kyla Ross changed to become this beautiful perfection we've seen today?
She just does Kyla. Kyla's like that in every aspect of her life. And when your default is striving for excellence every single day, you're going to be excellent when it matters the most.
You just pulled your group together. You had a tight team huddle. What was the message there?
You know, you don't come into a house like this, against a team like this, and just be good. You got to be great. You've got to be stellar. So we need to elevate our game. We're good. You know, we're not stellar right now. We need to bring stellar to floor and beach.
Okay, we'll see that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hot. And Kyla Ross, on her first two events today, she has delighted us with two perfect 10s. Wow, what a meet we have in Norman, Oklahoma.
Are you guys good with brakes? We're okay. Just okay? Yeah, we were saying here, if you can't stop, you can still honk. Networks like mechanics should never be just okay. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G evolution, the first step to 5G.
Hey Des, what do you think of the glycerin?
That's perfect. It's cushioned, but not too soft. Comfortable, but not overweight. Keeps me showing up.
In 12th, UCLA gymnast Katelyn Ohashi showed the world what fun, joy, and competitive spirit looks like. Her contagious choreography and difficult tumbling passes scored a perfect 10. That routine has captured the attention of more than 42 million viewers on Twitter alone. Katelyn's journey in gymnastics began with the same joy.
He jumped right up there.
Ohashi joined the U.S. national team in 2009. She describes herself as being one of the best gymnasts in the world, claiming a rare victory over Simone Biles in the 2013 American Cup. But her quest for perfection became too costly. A severe back injury and 2 torn shoulders led to her retirement from elite competition. The sport that once brought her joy had become an unhappy, unhealthy place. Joining the Bruins helped begin a slow healing process that has allowed Ohashi to reclaim her power. As an advocate of body positivity, she has found her voice as a public speaker and poet.
Because I am my own size, and no words or judgmental stares will make me compromise. For the bittersweet satisfaction that lays within my eyes and my thighs, I finally got my cake and ate it too.
Now when we watch Katelyn, we only see joy. She's found her home in body, mind, and spirit at UCLA.
Well, that interest in Miss Katelyn Ohashi, over 110 million viewers on viral social media, has increased attendance everywhere UCLA has gone this year. They are breaking records, and today is no exception. This crowd is the largest to ever watch an Oklahoma gymnastics meet, and it is wild in here. A new season attendance record for them, but nothing is more important. We've got Lon Kruger, the basketball coach, Lincoln Riley, the football coach, but the most important person that has come out to support this team, Nadia Comaneci, the first woman to ever have a perfect 10 in Olympic gymnastics, is here watching some perfect 10. You know it is a special big gymnastics meet if Nadia is in the house.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, you talk about game changers. That's the best gymnast in my house, the lovely Nadia Comaneci, my wife, and the first perfect 10. And of course, our 12-year-old son, Dylan, clowning it up for the cameras. What a day here in Norman. We got it all, don't we, Cap? This is good stuff. Don't go away, because we'll move on to the next rotation. The incredible Sooners on the beam, and UCLA and Ohashi on the floor.
My ancestor DNA results revealed that I'm 19% Native American, specifically from the Chihuahua people. The level of details it gives you, it's incredible.
20 million members have connected to a deeper family story. Order your kit at Ancestry.com.
Crowd in history at the Sooners gymnastics competition. Loving it today here. It's our final big Monday regular season doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, number 2 Virginia visits Syracuse. Then it's number 11 Texas Tech hosting Texas, and our own Holly Rowe will be there. Both games are also streaming live on the ESPN app. Here is the score at the halfway point in this competition. We've already seen 2 perfect 10s from UCLA's Kyla Ross, and yet the Oklahoma Sooners, with an even 99 by just under a half a point, go to the beam with a lead over the Bruins. And this is an event where KJ Kindler has somehow masterfully organized the most consistent beam performances in the country. Let's see what they can come up with today. Brenna Dowell will lead them off, and this is a rare spot for Brenna Dowell, Kathy.
Absolutely. What I love about balance beam and floor exercise, these 2 teams embody what gymnastics is. It's entertainment, and they draw you in on these 2 events. Brenna has a lot of difficulty. That front aerial, she was slightly off, had to make a correction with an arm swing, but she did it so fluidly.
Normally we see Olivia Troutman in the leadoff spot on beam for the Sooners.
Those are her leap series. You'll need to try to keep that front toe point if possible, and you want to show off the full split in the air.
One athlete who's normally in the lineup for the Sooners here is Bree Showers. She's out with a torn ACL, so like the other teams, adjusting here late in the season.
And gave Brenna an opportunity to show off that full twisting back handspring, very difficult skill. She again had a little bit of a balance issue. She wanted to connect those 2, the Backhands into the beat jump. I can see the nerves, but she's handling it. This is the first time she's competing, Dean, her senior year. And what a way to start them off. Handle those nerves and manage well.
And in a lead-off spot, which of course is enormous pressure because you set the stage and the momentum for the rest of the team. If you look nervous, sometimes it gets contagious. Go down to Holly.
Well, Marzetta Frazier has got such a fun routine to start things off for UCLA. It's Ode to a Drag Queen. She said the LGBTQ community is so important to her. She wants to show how people can come together in a place that is judgment-free. And she is paying homage to the voguing of that community. Wait till you see this. She said she watched the documentary Paris is Burning. Her song Dindada is an homage to the voguers of the past.
The #1 team in the country on this event, and this rotation will be a treat.
I can already see the Vogue femme there with the hand gestures and a catwalk, and then a really nicely landed full twisting double back, so she has it all.
She's the kind of free spirit that is just a perfect fit for the culture at UCLA Bruins gymnastics program.
Whip back, tuck double back, again showing great difficulty on all her passes. And spin down to the floor, hit that music on the beat. So duck walk. And a good finish, pike double back. Get that chest up to show off. And watch the finale. She gets the attention if she doesn't already. Butterfly spin. And the dip. I love it. That is a great tribute to Vogue Femme. Good for her.
Marzetta Frazier, the freshman from Sicklerville, New Jersey. If UCLA is going to get back in this and they trail by about a half a point, it's going to be because of these floor routines.
So if you didn't know what to look for, there's that spin, hits that drop to the floor on the beat of the music. Duck walk. Hard on the knees. Oh, and the hands. I love to see the hands. And the finale, everybody waits to see it.
Back to the beam now. 9.75 was the score for Brenna Dowell in her first lineup position on the beam. Nicole Lehrman, the senior from Austin, Texas, up now.
And I love this beginning choreography. The chest stands, the straddle splits, showing off creativity and flexibility.
Interesting that KJ Kindler completely changed her beam routine a few weeks ago. It just wasn't working, and so she said, let's completely revamp it.
She had a really neat triple series, but if it is not working, those judges are going to take deductions.
She had a hip injury, which makes his lunges difficult, so they had to readjust some of the skills in choreography.
So she'll do the back hand layout step out as her acro series. KJ works hard to put these routines together, changes them every year to keep them fresh and the choreography alive and evolving. Cat leap, well done. Very few gymnasts can do a cat leap that looks that pretty in the air. It's kind of an awkward position. Right to the finish. Gamerful, just an adjustment with the feet on the landing. This makes me smile. Beautiful form, perfect split in the air, shows off those toe point.
Having a really solid day on her events. 9.875 on vault, 9.925 on bars.
And there's that cat leap. You have to get those legs parallel, turn out the legs in the air.
Back to the floor for the Bruins. Gracie Kramer coming after Marzetta Frazier led them off with a 9.825.
and no one slips into their character quite like Gracie Kramer. Miss Val loves to create themes and stories, and they tell them with the movement, the facial expression, the attitude.
I think she told us the theme on this routine is a villain who escapes maximum security.
She has such great musicality and comes back. The tumbling front double twist off front pike. Made that look easy. Makes crazy look good. Beautiful set into that 1.5 twist and a floaty front layout. Spot on. Love that swan jump, that position up in the air. I'll tell you what, I can tell Miss Val had the conversation with them. She needed them step up to be stellar. Do your absolute best. That was it. This is a front layout with a double twist. It's an E skill. That's the highest level of skill in terms of difficulty. And the great teams all begin the routines with an E skill. This is a Rudy to a big, beautiful jump in the air.
Back to the Sooners now on being. Nicole Ehrman had a 9.875 after Dowell led them off with a 9.75. As the chauffeur now, the sophomore from Ames, Iowa. We weren't sure who we were going to see in this spot. They've adjusted their lineup. Carrie Thomas may have gone, but now it looks like Evie got the call.
And with Olivia Troutman not doing bouncing, she would normally be in this lineup. They had to make that adjustment. And seeing these freshmen step into this position in such a high intensity meet. So far, so good. Ooh, lost her choke point at the top of those jumps and then lost her focus after the landing.
She's only been in 2 beam lineups this season. Had a 9.875 her high score against Denver, but only a 9.025 last week against West Virginia.
This is actually an improvement. It's so nice to see her calm herself back down. She's only had that one little balance mistake. She can finish strong. Big improvement for this gymnast. Up just a step back on the landing.
Later on today, MLS opening weekend is capped off by 2 more matches on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. First at 6 Eastern, defending champion Atlanta United kicks off this season against original MLS champion DC United. Then LAFC hits the road to take on Grand Zusi and Sporting Kansas City. Both matches can also be seen on the ESPN. Interesting change in momentum here for these 2 teams. Oklahoma a bit nervy on Mean, and UCLA pouring it on the floor, and that brings up Paulina Trotz.
And Bart, this is more of an experience than a routine. She is deliberately awkward because that's the character, the feel, the theme of this routine. Full in. Now you couldn't see from this angle, but her chest was a little bit low, so they'll take a slight deduction there. Little knees on those skills, lock them out straight. Nice leap shapes in the air, perfect.
Del Condos told us the theme of this routine is a French alien who is Coco Chanel. Okay? So there.
As I said, deliberately awkward, and it works. People love this routine. Back double back, fought for that landing nice. They're allowed to land on the 2 feet and step into that lunge as long as it's not a big giant step or a slide. great attitude.
Of course, these routines get roaring applause in front of the home crowd at Palmer Pavilion, and respectful and polite applause here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Be still, focus and double back, but as I said, her chest was a little low on the landing. Watch the shape in the air. Front leg perfectly straight, parallel to the floor. Toe reached up to the top of her head, nicely done.
Looks like there's a judges conference and finishing up on the beam as we talk about how these rankings get determined. It's called NQS this year. It's the National Qualifying Score. It's used to determine team or individual's position for the upcoming NCAA postseason. Basically, the way they're calculated, you identify the top 6 scores, 3 of which must be from away meets. You drop the highest score and average the 5 remaining. And that is what they call their NQS. And all postseason positions and regional qualifying comes out of these numbers. So in addition to the 1 loss, both of these teams here are also looking for an impressive score for their postseason standing.
This begins with creative, mounts up to her knee, and then slides into the split.
Evie Schofer had a 9.75, so Oklahoma showing a few nerves here. 2 9.75s and 1 9.875. That was for Lehrman as Carly Woodard mounts the beam.
This year especially, the judges are really looking for the rhythm of the routine. Nice. Oh no! It's a great series. Aerial cartwheel back hamstring, but she was completely off. Your right guard, they seem just a little too nervy. And it's built from each routine. It's just sort of adding. They need to release that pressure and stay aggressive.
It's a little bit different atmosphere than they're used to here in Norman. They almost by double the largest crowd ever to watch a dual meet in women's gymnastics here in the Lloyd Noble Center.
We seldom see falls from these two teams, so a reminder to the audience, it's a 0.5 of a point deduction for a fall off the apparatus.
She had a high versus Denver this year of 9.95. Of course, we won't see that today. But remember, as we said, 6 athletes and just the best 5 scores count towards their team total.
Aerial cartwheel full. Like to see her get back into that routine and be solid for the rest.
That'll put enormous pressure on their final 2 performers, Anastasia Webb and Maggie Nichols. But Kyla Ross has been our highlight reel so far today. In the first rotation at perfect 10, well-deserved on the uneven bars. And then, in case you wondered, why not do one more on the ball?
Absolutely, why not? And she is so definitive with every single element in the routine. Now, for floor exercise, that's a little bit more challenging. There are 3 passes, dance elements that you have to perform perfectly, and so much footwork that needs to be precise for no reduction.
The #1 ranked all-around gymnast in the country this season so far. Holly?
Well, you're talking about the fitness level it takes, and Kyla Ross said that's actually what's different about her this year. She knew that she would have to step up competitively with the loss of some of their group seniors last year, so she said she's been doing extra conditioning with her group. They'll go really hard for 2 minutes on the assault bike, on the exercise cycle, on the rowing machine. She said that 2 minutes, if I go all out on that, that is like my floor routine.
And Holly, that was so perfect. Coming out of that second tumbling run, she walked right into the dance, showing the complete control necessary for perfection.
Biggest stars in collegiate gymnastics competing today here head-to-head. She's an Olympic gold medalist, 5-time world championship medalist for the U.S. team.
What Kyla has learned to do is milk the choreography, the little nuances, the facial expression. And then she walks into the focus for this final tumbling run, pike double back. See if she can land. Oh my gosh. She has got stick fever. And that's a good thing.
Wow, what a meet the #1 gymnast in the country is having in Norman today. Kyla Ross, the junior from Melissa Viejo, California.
Well, every single pass, She not only executed, there's that whip back to a tuck double back. She has such strength in her feet, in her legs, that she absorbs these landings so well, gets that chest up to show the judges everything they need to not take a deduction.
She's had a career perfect 10 on all events except 4. We go back to the beam now. Clutch time for the Sooners because Carly Woodard had a 9.275. Anastasia Webb on the beam now. And that 9.275 would likely be the score they can drop if Webb and Nichols can hit routines here.
And Anastasia's balance beam work is as beautiful as her name. It is flowing. It is flowering because the hand, look at the arms. Strives for form throughout these skills. Back handspring to lay out, step out. Beautiful that she's stretched up at the end of that. She goes in and out of her skills so nicely. Almost looks like it goes to the music that's played in the background.
Score just came in for Kyla Ross, 9.975. So she got a 10 from one judge and a 9.9 from the other, and they averaged those two scores for the final score.
Way to get them back.
Oh, yes.
That was a clutch performance by Anastasia Webb.
If Oklahoma could hold on to win this meet, it might be because of that. After a 9.275, a gutsy performance here for the sophomore.
And she fought from the start to the finish, kept everything moving, so anything that was even slightly off, she could make the correction without any limits.
Oklahoma had a lead of nearly a half a point after 2 events. Well, that has been squandered down to 1/10 of a point. As we go to Felicia Hano, coming off of Kyla Ross's 9.975 for UCLA. This is on the bridge.
And this is such a fun routine. Again, with the character and the theme.
You notice the gymnasts are allowed to use that extra mat to protect their ankles on landing. There's no deduction here.
Some fun half, a little stag jump with some character in it.
Speaking of character, I understand the theme here is a 1920s mermaid who comes in and out of water. So there. And a 9.9 last week at Utah.
Here's the part where you can really feel like it's underwater. Show off these turns. The judges are looking for the shape and the full revolution in. Nice little touches in this routine. Miss Val, of course, comes from the dance world, and she creates such memorable choreography. And honestly, I think that's at the heart of finding the joy in this sport. They've all done it. And they share it.
Miss Val's background as a dancer, that's true. She is remarkable in her success as a gymnastics coach because she was never a gymnast herself. Always came from the dance world.
Showing off that double layout, another E element, so good difficulty in this routine. Oh, and you always have your team with you. They know your choreography.
Makes the away teams feel just that much more at home when your team is just off the edge of the floor supporting you. Okay, Maggie Nichols coming after Anastasia Webb's 9.85. This is a crucial routine to help you replace the 9.275 for Woodard.
And if you're writing a script, this is who you put in this position. She has come up with so many clutch performances. And very few gymnasts should actually try to be perfect. Usually you try to be normal. She can actually, normal is perfect. A little bit low on that back leg in that jump.
She hasn't had the season she's wanted because she's been dealing with knee pain. She had PRP injections recently, that platelet-rich plasma to help the healing. So she's doing a limited number of events this season. They hope to have her at full strength for the postseason when they're going to try to win their 4th national championship.
As someone who's working, I just love to see when something is just ever so slightly off and watch the little hand gesture that fixes it without the audience knowing. Switch loop to a split lead, much better position in those loops.
She's averaged 9.9 so far this year on this event, ranked 9th in the country.
Solid, as always. Watch the landing here. Oh my God, feet are apart.
Wow.
But she pulls them together for the salute.
That was brilliant.
Yes.
Under enormous pressure,
Absolutely.
Katelyn. Remember, they have to drop that low score, and they needed this routine right here.
See that back hook, that's the only thing that she could just point and lifted that up a little bit. But I tell you what, pressure makes diamonds, and this was a gem. Really, look at that. Even in slow motion. Perfect until the feet apart on the landing, but still look great.
And from one special treat to another, Maggie Nichols delivers, and we go back to floor for UCLA, the most watched sports clip of 2019. Let's just sit back and appreciate the remarkable Katelyn Ohashi. 8 times she has scored perfection, 6 of them on the floor exercise.
Little pieces of this choreography just work so perfectly.
Her viral performances have literally been the most important thing that happened to women's collegiate gymnastics this season. All around the world, they're seeing the joy, the love, the success, and the inspiration from this young lady who struggled as an elite athlete, and now she is on top of the world. In fact, I just saw an article about her today in the Rolling Stone.
And even though many of those people have no idea how difficult some of the tumbling passes are, and the choreography, woo! Good for her. That is such a thrill, seeing it in person.
And terrific appreciation from the crowd here in Oklahoma, who knows what they just witnessed.
And this is the difficulty I'm talking about. This is a double layout, but watch what she does with her legs. The split in the beginning just elevates that skill to another level. And the joy that she creates all around her. This is just such an incredible moment for all the people in this arena to see this in person. That's the best she's ever done. That kept those toes pointed all the way down to the split drop.
And we're waiting on her score, and it's in now. It's a 10. So Ohashi gets another 10 on the floor, and guess what? This meet is flat out tied going into the final rotation. We thought it would be a dream matchup, and on an incredible performance on the floor, UCLA matches up with the Sooners, who are a little bit tight on the beam. And a big thrill, our third 10 of the night, this one from Katelyn Ohashi.
Well, she went after it, and she got it with so much fun. Wow.
It doesn't get any better than that. You're not going to want to miss the finish of this competition. Don't go away.
Be remembered as a coach as someone who has proven that you can train champions in life and then transfers to their athletics without stifling their joy and their enthusiasm. A lot of times in sport, we feel that we've got to strip the athletes of that innate joy that we have as children, and we don't. You can accomplish both.
Well, Miss Val has been a legend for UCLA gymnasts. If you consider she never even knew how to do a handstand herself until last year, and all she's done is won national champions. Miss Val has made an ability for her gymnasts to compete and be the highest level performers, but also find that joy inside of them. But what I really love about Miss Val, she dances anywhere, anytime. Her book is, hey, life is short, dance now. I love that theory, and I like her rules as well. Early is on time, no phones at team meals, you need to connect with your teammates. No gum, no hair ties on your wrist, no sweatpants, no bows, and no face tattoos. Basically, she's saying life is a choice, choose to be excellent, and we saw her pull her gymnasts together and choose to be more excellent. They weren't doing a good enough job on their first 2 rotations. She wanted them to make a choice, and as you can see, they've chosen to be more competitive.
Thank you, Holly. As a parent, those are good parenting rules as well. It's our final big Monday regular season doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, number 2 Virginia visits Syracuse. Then it's number 11 Texas Tech hosting Texas. Both games are also streaming live on the ESPN app. Well, these teams separated by about a half a point after 2 events, but guess what? Who could have thought that here now going into the final rotation, they are dead even. We had a thriller last year at the NCAA Championship. Are we going to see another one tonight?
MLS is back. A Soccer Sunday doubleheader. Atlanta United versus FC Cincinnati. LAFC versus Portland Timbers. Line them up. Everybody's back in the game. For real. You know the deal. It's our soccer. Atlanta United versus FC Cincinnati, followed by LAFC versus Portland Timbers. Sunday on ESPN and FS1.
They want to know where the jump shot come from. Balance eye contact, elbow room, follow through. See, that's what I was taught to do. Never get the credit I deserve. I don't know if you hear every word. Yeah, I'm a threat, Yeah, I'm a threat, You know I'm a threat, Yeah, I'm a threat,
What a day in Norman, Oklahoma. 3 perfect 10s and 2 of them from the incomparable Tyler Ross. 1 on the bars and then followed up with another one on the ball.
Kyla is not only sublime in her performance, but she is masterful. Power and grace personified.
And the highlight of the year in collegiate gymnastics so far has been this young lady, and she did not disappoint in Norman. Another perfect 10 for Katelyn Ohashi on the floor.
She entertained every last person in this arena. What a thrill.
So here is the summary of number 2 UCLA versus Oklahoma. 3 10s so far. Of the 19 10s in the season in the NCAA, 15 have come from the athletes in this competition today. So here we go. Clutch performances now for the visiting team, the Bruins on the beam, as the Oklahoma Sooners will be on the floor in this 4th and final rotation.
And you're going to see some beautiful choreography in these beam routines. Ms. Val makes them treat the balance beam like a stage, and it's a performance in her mind. Yes, they have to be perfect on the skills, the elements that the judges are scoring. I'm looking for any tiny mistakes. So far, she has shown very few of them.
She had to sit out for 4 meets earlier this season because of a bruised heel, so she was only competing in the uneven bar lineup.
Those leaps and jumps are as perfectly performed as possible. Perfect split in the air, nice full turn, and shows off the flexibility as if we haven't seen it yet. Just putting a punctuation mark at the end of that. Fantastic sentence. What a routine from start to finish.
Great start. Oklahoma started nervous on beam, but not the case for UCLA. Grace Glenn, great start to the team that is ranked #1 in the country on this event.
You can watch these skills in slow motion. She even shows off the full split in her back handspring. Amazing.
We mentioned that the Oklahoma Sooners are doing without the all-around expertise of Maggie Nichols, but Anastasia Webb having a solid day, but yet to hit a 9-9. So she'll lead them off on the floor. And this is a event where KJ Kindler acknowledged to us that her dream lineup hopefully is healthy later in the season. So they're just kind of trying to piece it together today.
Look at the posture in this routine. She stretches up out of it. It really shows this off to the fullest. Front double twist, control in the landing. She doesn't walk, she prances in this routine. Back 1.5, front full. Good amplitude on both those saltos. Presentation. So many beautiful pictures in that routine.
Sports Center tonight after LAFC Sporting Kansas City with Steve Levy and John Anderson. They'll break down the NCAA field from top to the bubble. 2 weeks from Selection Sunday. Plus the best moment from MLS's opening weekend. And Antonio Brown reveals how his relationship with the Steelers soured in this week's SC feature. SportsCenter, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Back to the beam now. Riel win now for the Bruins coming after Gracie Glenn rocked a 9-9 in that leadoff spot.
Good for the judges for not being afraid to throw up that big score at the start of a lineup. Sometimes they're a little hesitant. They want room to go. That aerial to a standing layup. That's such a difficult combination. They majored her for rhythm. I think they will probably give her credit for the series because you really have to connect them with no extra movement.
The senior is a balance beam specialist for UCLA.
Anytime you see those leaps that turn in the air, not just split, but actually rotate for the revolution around, makes them more difficult.
The transfer from Illinois had a 9-9 last week against Utah.
And the dismount, front with a full, great landing. Whew, they are really rocking these routines. Such confidence, because I like that they're still smiling, they're performing. Kept her hips right over the balance beam and pulled her center ground and pulled that torso back in line. That'll be a slight deduction in rhythm and the balance beam.
We mentioned they were tied coming into this rotation. Well, they're still tied because both teams had leadoff 9-9s. Jordan Draper up now for the Sooners. 6 times in the floor lineup in this season. Her best was a 9.95, but only a 9.725 against West Virginia last week.
And this is an interesting routine. She's only going to do 2 tumbling passes. Very challenging to get everything you need in terms of difficulty and requirements. She does that for the back half, that's her backward tumbling, into the front Ruby. So nothing is a big, difficult skill, but she combines skills to get those requirements of base. second and last pass. Full. I was expecting a full, which would have been much better in terms of difficulty and bonus. But she also adds a very difficult leap if she can get it all the way around. There's a switch leap. Now here's a switch full if she gets it all the way around. That's a big skill. Nifty little routine there. Nicely packaged.
The sophomore from Bedford, Texas. A solid performance coming after Anastasia Webb led them off with a 9-9.
Now this is the one I said, here's the first switch leg leap. Now she switches. A lot of gymnasts do this full without switching the leg first. That makes it a little bit more difficult.
Kathy, you called it right on Brielle Wynn's beam routine. It was a 9-7-7-5. So there's enormous pressure on the rest of the lineup to nail their performances. And here's a young lady who's been in that position many times.
And she's had a few shaky routines. Miss Val spoke to her coming into this meeting. She said, you need to give your permission to fall. I'm not going to be upset if you fall, if you go big. Go big, be aggressive. And usually the outcome is good.
She missed her beam routine against Utah last week, the Olympic gold medalist, Ocean.
You can have nerves, but you can have no fear. Go after it big. She had a little correction there, fought through it. Now here's her next difficult combination here. Front aerial, she needs to connect it to a split jump. Little hesitation, but much better than last week. She's kind of broken through that confidence barrier.
Mentioned she's always coming back from something. She had a shoulder injury last year. They discovered last August a fracture in her femur. So just emphasizes just how tough these young women are, competing as any other athlete would with.
They just wear the crystals to distract you from how tough they are.
Oh yeah, good job.
But wow, what fight, good for her. I know they're going to be happy with this routine. A couple little mistakes in there, but she fought through and kind of had a turnaround in terms of her confidence. Got those arms up, had to slightly adjust, they'll get her on rhythm. We'll see if they give her connection bonus and credit for putting the two together.
And we'll go back to the floor now for the Sooners. Well, apparently the judges like Jordan Draper's nifty routine, as you called it, Kathy, a 9-9 for her. Emma LaPinta, the freshman from Frisco, Texas, set to go now. Emma, by the way, did her club training at Kurt Thomas Gymnastics fans will remember, of course, U.S. first male world champion, the legendary Kurt Thomas, was her coach.
This is a triple twist. How great is that?
4 times in the lineup on floor for the Sooners this year with 2 hits and 2 misses.
Not bad on the positions in those leaves. Think of them as pictures frozen in your mind. You can see it looks good.
Jay Kindler says she seems to be sometimes anxious when she's competing, so her misses come on different elements each week. Important pass coming up here.
So far, so good. It almost looked like she got her heels over the line on that. Before she tumbled, but wow! KJ just leapt off the ground.
I don't think I've seen KJ Kindler jump so high because she knows that was an important routine. The Sooners not competing with their best lineup on floor need those kind of clutch hits.
Absolutely. They needed her to step up, and she was able to do that in such a high-intensity meet. Good for her.
2 hits and 2 misses this year, but a hit when they needed it.
Watch this. Very difficult. 3 twists. 1, 2, and 3. Just a little late cross. Great difficulty, though, and so wonderful to see her nail this last pass. Thrilled her coaches.
We go back to the beam now. 9.825 is the score for Madison Koshin. So UCLA has a 9.9, a 9.775, and a 9.825 as the remarkable Nora Flatley, the freshman from West Des Moines, Iowa, steps up.
I love her mouth, that little quick look over her shoulder as if an I got a secret moment. And the secret is out. She is such a beautiful, elegant performer on balance beam. Textbook on that series right there. Aerial part with straight legs, nice. Cover, there is a slight flaw there. They will take a deduction for the balance break.
Ms. Val says her coaching tip for her this week is to stand tall. She said sometimes she tries to get angry, to get aggressive, but sometimes that makes you tight.
Now what she thinks about is getting taller as she goes into beam. Each skill taller than the last one. Finish tall. Oh, couldn't quite get the stick, but oh my gosh, that is such a lovely beam routine.
And those hops are going to matter. These two teams separated by 75 thousandths of a point as we're hitting the halfway point in the final rotation. Much like what we saw last year at the NCAA championship, this could go down to the last athlete and the last landing. Jade Degovea, you see her NQS, her national qualifying score on the floor.
And this choreography is so interesting and unique. It fits her like a glove.
Kindler told us she picked this music and everybody on the team wanted it. And Jade,
she held her ground. She goes, I asked for it first, I'm getting it.
Says she is a rare combination of a great performer, a real individualist, and yet still a team player.
Second pass, a little bit of leg form in the air. Nice job on those leaps.
Out for most of last season with an injury to her plantar fasciitis. It came in strong in time for the NCAA championship. Just a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Spectacular choreography and done so well, performed just perfectly, fitter, precisely as it should.
And she's coming up after the 9.875 for Emma LaPinta. So strong routines there. But let's go back to, so far, the most remarkable gymnast of this meet with 2 perfect 10s, Kyla Ross. How many times has she been in this position and in need of delivering a big routine?
And when she grabs the beam to mount, it's as if she just stills the world around her. And her focus is laser sharp. She is simply serene on this event. So calm, so potentially perfect at every step, every hand gesture.
2 perfect 10s and a 9.975 so far this meet. She's scored perfect 10s twice on beam.
She has one difficult leap to go in this routine. I love that full turn with the leg in back, scoops right out of it, shows off the flexibility there on that scale.
What a magical gymnast she is. She's in top 5 in all the events in the NCAA. That's rare.
This is her best routine I've seen this season so far on this. There's the leap. Switch leap to split jump. Just superb. If she can stick the landing, I would go to, oh my goodness gracious. It was utter perfection until that one little shift. I'm talking a shift, not a hop, not a step, a shift of the back, of the foot to the back.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Could we have seen her third 10 of the day?
Yeah, it was, I would have gone 10 until that particular moment. Everything else on the balance beam, watch this in here. The picture is gorgeous. That's a poster on your wall, folks. Amplitude through the roof. And then right here, just a little pipe in the hips closer to over-rotate slightly, but who takes a step as beautifully as Katelyn Ohashi?
Even if she's going to take a step. It's lovely. Okay, Brenna Dowell will do this floor routine now for the Sooners, and she opens up with a move that's actually named after her. It's a pipe double front somersault. She first debuted in international competition, therefore, it is named after her. It is.
I mean, you can feel the power when she runs into this. Pipe double front.
Yes.
Little over rotation, but she was making sure that she got it all the way around, and it was high.
She steps so close to the line. If you step on the line, it's okay. But anytime your body is over the line, it's a one-minute drill.
Perfect landing there. That's the landing she wanted out of that double pipe, but it's such a difficult skill.
You see it on your screen there, a 9.875 or more means that Brenna Dowell can actually clinch this win for the Sooners at home in the big rematch, even before the final performer for the Sooners would go, and that would be Olivia Troutman.
Brenna has gotten so much more comfortable performing on floor exercise. She usually just lets her power be on display. See, she made this landing, front layout, front full to static jump. Really great job with that routine.
She had a 9.9 on balls, a 9.925 on bars, a 9.75 on B, but how about this?
It's all going to come down to what the judges do with this landing. This is such a difficult skill. Double pipe, she over-rotates slightly, and that's an adjustment on that step, and it's a little too large a step for perfection. But the rest of the passes, just exceptional on the landing.
So as we wait on her score, we'll go back to the beam for the sublime Katelyn Ohashi. She herself has scored perfection on this event as well. #1 on the beam in the country right now.
She's extremely talented on this event. She's a natural beam worker. She has just that innate sense of balance and the difficulty in this routine. 2 front aerials to back handspring.
You see the score on your screen. Brenna Dowell's score is in. It's a 9.925 for the Sooners. A 197.7 means they will clinch the win even before Ohashi completes her routine.
Watch this final lead up to her dismount after she does these leaps. Perfectly, I might add. But it's so difficult. She does tumbles down the beam, back handspring, layout, right into the dismount, and a perfectly stuck landing. What a way to cap off a phenomenal competition here. That's epic.
Epic. A 10 on the floor, a solid set for Ohashi on the beam. Here's a young lady who's become a powerful advocate for young women around topics such as bullying and body shaming, and even her message has transcended those magical performances.
And it's such an important message to everybody out there watching. Be yourself, be happy, find the joy in everything you do.
Well, how about an encore for the young freshman, Olivia Troutman? We weren't sure we were going to see her. She had a pulled groin muscle. We know that she's already scored a perfect 10 on floor earlier this season.
One of the most exciting freshmen in the country right now. Double layout.
Freshman from Minnesota, same club as Maggie Nichols.
Nice amplitude, very high on those front tumbling skills, wonderful hold this.
She told Coach Katelyn, she wanted a funky routine, so KJ found the music and said, let's go with this.
Funky describes it perfectly. It's fun and funky.
KJ tells us that she's totally different from many freshmen. There's no drama ever, she says. Always smiling and entertaining as a kid.
So glad we got to see her today.
What a treat. A couple of days ago, the coaching staff said, we're not sure Troutman's going to go. She showed up and warmed up and said, put me in, coach. And boy, did she deliver. We talked at the top of the show about some of the Sooners playing in pain and the difficult week they've had. And yet, how about this?
She showed it all off. A double layout, complete with a smile at the end, and then came back. Nice height on the front layout to the front full. And a double back. She covered this little bounce back so well with a shiny smile and picture-perfect form of the fingertips.
And after Ohashi's 995, then it was Troutman with her own 995, and Holly Rowe is with KJ Kindler, the winning coach.
Well, KJ Kindler, given all of the injuries that your team has been battling through, you're tied going into the final rotation. How important was that for you to win this on the floor?
So important. Emma LaPinta, I can't tell you that routine really catapulted this team on this event. She's had a rough time all season, hitting on all cylinders. Today she did that. It was huge.
Given the way the national championship ended, how important was it for you guys to find out within yourselves today to beat UCLA?
I just like to see the fire in them at the end. They were gutting it out, every routine after routine, you know? It's just really, obviously I'm very proud. It's just an awesome moment for them, but just to see them rise like that, that's huge.
And to do it in front of a crowd that is sold out, that is the biggest I've ever seen gymnastics here for you, what does that mean for you in this program?
This program, we've earned that. You know, we've been 3-time national champions, and a lot of people are missing out on this amazing product, so I'm just so proud. I hope they'll all come back and continue to support our team.
All right, we will see you at the national championships. Thank you.
We had hoped for a dream matchup today between the two top ranked teams in the country, and boy, did we get it. Oklahoma with a win, 197-75 over UCLA, 197-5-75. How about the 210s from Kyler Ross from UCLA, Kathy?
They were something most of the people in this arena will never forget. To see such perfection and such grace and power from one athlete. And keep in mind, on the other two events, she was as close to perfect as you could possibly be.
And Oklahoma's Maggie Nichols playing through pain, not in the all-around today, but likely to be a strong contender against Ross for the all-around championship at the NCAAs in April.
You mix hard and fantastic gymnastics together, you get Maggie Nichols. What a treat.
So a thrilling day in Norman, Oklahoma, and two coaches who have enormous respect for each other, the top two programs in the country, saying thank you, sharing the floor together tonight here in Norman. So Oklahoma with a 197-775 over UCLA 197-575. What a day here.
Hit the big red button and subscribe. As they say in Louisiana, let the good times roll. Peace out, YouTube. Hit the big red button.